Phil.
It's Maria. Matt Atchity from Rotten Tomatoes is here. You know, he's a regular guest on Good Day LA. This is a huge movie-going weekend, right?
Yes, lots of movies opening.
What do you have for us?
A lot of good stuff. First up, we should probably talk about the kids' movie, Rise of the Guardians. This is an animated film.
Okay.
It's about the Tooth Fairy and the Sandman and Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny all fighting.
All of them.
All of them together with Jack Frost fighting the Boogeyman.
Okay.
I really like this movie. The critics mostly like it. 76% on the tomato meter, certified fresh. Now, I will say, this is kind of a darker movie than you might expect.
Looks so, a little bit.
Little kids, like 5, 6-year-olds, it might be a little much for them, but I think the older set, 3rd, 4th grade, is going to be fine here.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like it. It's a beautiful movie, produced by Guillermo del Toro, so it's got kind of his feel to it a little bit. But I really would recommend this.
All right.
That's a solid one. Next up, we should probably talk about Life of Pi. Which is the adaptation of the really popular book from, I think, 2003.
Everybody loves this movie.
Yeah, this movie's doing really well on the tomato meter, 86%. I really liked it too. This is a rare movie that I will actually recommend seeing in 3D. I normally am not
3D is supposed to be spectacular.
It is spectacular. You know, it's great when a master director like Ang Lee tackles 3D. It really helps this movie be very immersive.
I've seen the previews for this about 5 times.
Yeah, it's worth seeing. It's really a spectacle. I would say it runs a little slow at times. You know, it is a story about a guy who's shipwrecked on a life raft with a Bengal tiger, and so as you can imagine, it does slow down a little bit, but I think for the most part it's a really solid film, and as I said, worth seeing in 3D, and actually surprisingly okay if you want to take kids to it. You know, again, maybe not little kids,
right,
but you could take children to this, although they may get a little bored in it.
Okay.
The other one that's opening this week, Red Dawn, actually doesn't open till, Hitchcock. Hitchcock doesn't open till tomorrow.
Okay.
But that's a solid movie as well. This is the story of, really, it focuses on Hitchcock and his wife, Alma, right around the time that they're making Psycho, which he actually was getting a little pressure about, because after North by Northwest came out, and there were such rave reviews, he kind of thought he had peaked.
The pressure was on high impact, by the way.
You know, there was just was it on HBO, The Girl?
Yes.
What's the sudden fascination with Hitchcock after all this time?
I think it's one of those things that happens in Hollywood where somebody starts one project and there'll be another project that may have been in development or in turnaround.
Because The Girl was not a very flattering portrayal of him.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. This one is a little bit more flattering.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got Anthony Hopkins,
who's always fantastic
playing Hitchcock. Now, there's one more movie that that one's doing really well, 71% on the tomato meter.
Okay.
The one I'm going to warn people off from is Red Dawn. Red Dawn.
I read the review of that in the Times yesterday.
It's not a good
What's the problem?
It's where should I start?
How much time
First
do
of
we
all,
have?
it's almost entirely shot in handheld cameras.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of the movie having to look away. It actually was starting to make me sick.
Okay.
It's just not very good. The story doesn't work very well.
The original was very good.
There's a lot of affection for the original movie. I would recommend seeing that again over this one. I just didn't like this at all. I got to tell you, this is one of my least favorite movies in the last few months.
What was the
12%?
12%.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
they shot this like years ago.
Well, so this was a movie that was shot a few years ago, and it was part of the group of movies that was at MGM when they went bankrupt. And so a lot of movies ended up kind of in legal limbo. Now, in some cases, some of those movies came out like Cabin in the Woods and turned out, oh, God, that should have been out 2 years ago. That was a great movie. This one, maybe they should have left in limbo.
What's the highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes?
We have 100% movies.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's not that uncommon?
No, it's not that uncommon.
That's the viewer.
No, that's the critic.
Tomato
Yeah, so
meter?
some of the
Tomatoes are
Pixar
the
movies, the first 2 Toy Story movies have 100% with upwards of 100 reviews. That's really, you know,
wow.
Man on Wire might be the highest rated movie of all time.
Really?
The documentary from a couple years back, it's at something like almost 200 reviews, and they're all positive. Everybody loved that movie.
Wow, I haven't even seen that.
It's out on, it's on
my
home
Netflix?
video. Yeah, this is a story about the guy who did the tightrope walk between the Twin Towers.
Okay.
It's his documentary. It's fascinating. It's really good.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%. That's our best rated
All right.
movie.
Favorite movie of all time?
Manchurian Candidate.
Really?
The original 1963.
Wow.
What about you?
I'd probably go with Godfather 2.
Oh, not one?
No.
Interesting.
Godfather 2 is a good movie. How about you?
I think I'd say Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Really?
Classic.
That is a classic.
Classic.
3 different
Hepburn.
choices there.
Exactly.
Yeah, all across the board.
Hey, Matt, thanks for coming in. By the way, you can catch Matt on Rotten Tomatoes Radio, which is on Sirius Radio, Tuesdays at 4 and Thursdays at 3. Is that right?
Thursdays at 3
Tuesdays
will be
at 4,
on tonight.
Thursdays at 3, so today.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks
Thanks
very
so much.